Mark Megan's Weekly Roast. Proudly supported by Cialis for Men. Are you one of nearly 3 in 10 men experiencing erectile dysfunction? Why not have a quick, discreet chat with your pharmacist about Cialis for Men 10mg film-coated tablets, which contains tadalafil. Now available without prescription in pharmacies nationwide. Find out more at cialisformen.ie. To be taken at least 30 minutes prior to anticipated sexual activity. Always read the label. GoLoud.
Welcome back to the Weekly Roast. How's it going, guys? How the hell are you? How are your hearts? And of course, how are your heads? Guys, Mark Megan's Weekly Roast is proudly brought to you by Cialis for Men, helping you get and keep an erection whenever you need it. I am so happy to be working with the brand that will help men, not just with their erections, but in realising that there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Nearly 3 in 10 males have experienced ED, but only 1 in 4 are comfortable discussing it. Let's change that. Cialis for Men is now available without prescription from pharmacies nationwide. All it takes is a quick chat with your pharmacist and you're off to the races. To be taken at least 30 minutes prior to anticipated sexual activity. Contains tadalafil. Always read the label. Guys, how the hell are you? How are you getting on? Listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, someone's got a case of the thank yous. Thank you so much to everybody who spends time listening to the podcast. If it was not for you, we would not be signing sponsorship deals up there with Rogan and Spotify, the little one we've done. So listen, thank you so much to everybody. Your support is hugely and enormously appreciated. Thank you so much. You help keep the show alive. Not only that, if there are lots of new listeners, which we seem to be accruing more and more as the weeks go on, I just want to say you are very, very welcome to Mark Megan's Weekly Roast. We are essentially Ireland's confession box. The format is as follows, okay? Every week I put up a question box on my Instagram at @MeganMark, and people send in their stories, roasting whatever the subject is. Thereafter, our wonderful whiz kid, prodigious genius Emma Nolan, my co-producer, she distorts your voices, providing you with total anonymity, ensuring your secrecy remains, so you can tell us your deepest, darkest secrets without running the risk of your identities being revealed. That's the Weekly Roast, and you're very, very welcome. Now, Emma, there's been a bit of a disaster.
Oh no, why is that now?
Well, because today we are roasting notions, and it's been a complete and utter unmitigated. I've never, in the history of the podcast, this is the worst thing that's ever happened.
I got a message from my sister last night going, Jesus, sounds like you and Mark are in for tomorrow. I said, why? I hadn't been on my phone in a while. I said, what's wrong? She said, he's having a feckin' mare over on Instagram stories. What happened?
I honestly don't think I've had this much of a howler since I started posting fit checks. And honestly, the backlash from me doing fit checks, worse than Garen Noon's immigration video. Like, do you know what I mean? I couldn't believe the outrage at me having notions. So look, let's just paint the picture, okay? And I'll fill you in. If you're listening to the podcast regularly but you don't follow me on Instagram, I will just let you know what went down. I put up the question box as usual, okay? Notions. Chosen by the listener, by the way, because there's a poll. The listener gets to choose. How would you define notions?
People who think that they are a bit above themselves.
Above, I think, is the key word there. It's acting above your station. It is sort of signalling or alluding to you being better than, not you are, because I don't believe anybody is a certain thing, but better than your peers. You have to be better than the people around you. And
it's kind of fancying yourself a little bit.
It's fancying yourself, but it's also, it's wanting to position yourself on a sort of tier higher than the rest on the sort of social ladder. Now, that seems quite straightforward.
Especially because we live in Ireland and the Irish media just talk about, like, notions is quite a common thing in discussion. You would think that it would be very widely known as an expression or, you know, a descriptive word for so many things in Irish culture.
I agree. Notions plays a larger part of Irish cultural life than begrudgery, almost.
Amen.
And I think it's worth remembering that lots of our sort of innate, you know, the things that people refer to as notions aren't actually notional. They're just, you know, people trying to better themselves, and we sort of struggle with that in Ireland. Nevertheless, I put up the box last night. I'm just going to read out some of the replies to you. Is that okay?
Oh, I'd love that, yeah.
But fret not, my friend. We do have a full show here. I would never let you down at the Weekly Roast. And we did, of course, get some fabulous and phenomenal submissions. But this episode is a special one, so I want to dedicate part one today to reading out the most insane, deranged, as you might say, my boy, hold on to your bra, derangement levels of responses from some of Ireland's greatest citizens who must possess what can only assume petit filou in lieu of a brain. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, was I the only one to despair at some of the irrational, insane and constitutionally deranged responses? I received a letter of concern from a, and I quote, concerned but loyal follower. Mark, with your increased popularity, I've casually observed that, in general, the common sense and general intelligence of your followers has steadily declined. This topic is what Malcolm Gladwell refers to as the tipping point. Clearly, none of these people read the question. We've fallen from honours to pass over the course of a year, but this week, the foundation level students have taken control. It's arguably a global phenomenon. The clown in the White House and his entourage a shining example. I think it's time people start attaching CVs alongside their submissions here. A concerned but loyal following. So there you go. That was the reaction of the people. With that, guys, here are 5 or so of the most devastatingly, head-scratchingly, soul-bewilderingly, derangement levels, thick replies I received on my Instagram.
You do look even sad relaying it.
Yesterday. I more sad when I get interrupted, Emma Nolan, so...
Very sorry about that, Mark.
Just fucking remember that. Nevertheless... Sister-in-law says she hasn't farted since she did the leaving. Weapon. Has no neck and tiny legs. You don't need to have a go at the legs. Tiny or otherwise. Do you know what I mean? Leave the legs alone. The legs aren't relevant to the farting. It's complete okay, sister says she hasn't farted since she did the leaving. Fair enough. That's borderline notions. I agree with that. Weapon. Not necessary. Has no neck and tiny legs. Don't be calling her Mr. Tato. Don't be having a go like she's the conductor in Thomas the Tank Engine. Do you know what I mean? Thomas the... I don't know. Like, this is just... The levels of hatred for people's sister-in-laws is actually astonishing. And I mean, that's just an excuse to have a go. Number 2, okay? Bear in mind, this is the roast of notions, okay? These people don't have a bloody notion. Am I right, Emma Notions, Nolan?
Am I right?
That's real radio banter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm back here. How's it? Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Mark Megan's Banter Bus. It's me here with Emma Notions, Nolan. What are you doing today, Emma? You got a match your tea, you got a match your key. Brilliant. HR
the wrong job, man.
HR have been called. Okay. Examples of notions. Doses wearing yellow hivis. One can only assume she means high vis, but she forgot to read that issue of Tara and Ben. Doses wearing... Do you remember Tara and Ben?
I do, yeah.
Go on, Tara and Ben. And the perverted friend, Connor.
God, I don't remember it in that much detail.
Zacchaeus was a greedy little man. He stole from other people in the land.
Woo!
He took me for a ride. He said, "Don't step inside." Zacchaeus was really... Tulsa got involved in the end. Do you remember Zacchaeus? Do you not?
I can't say I do.
Some people will. Go on, Zacchaeus. Sorry, the coffee's struck. Nevertheless, doses wearing yellow high-vis coats out for a measly 2k walk on the roads. Good stuff. Having a go at people trying to avoid death.
Having to go at general public safety.
Oh, if you're mortally aware, you must have notions. Do you know what I mean? It's just completely outrageous. By the way, if you do live in an area that does have dark bends and quiet roads, please always wear a high-vis jacket, whether it's morning, noon or night. Do not listen to this absolute lunatic. Next one. You ready for this, Emma Nolan?
I always am.
GF, brilliant. Bros GF asked if they only sold ketchup on the north side.
That's just utter ignorance.
But like, and I say this as I like to refer to myself as a reformed South Dubliner. I'm joking. I don't. There's nothing reformed about me. I sometimes it's staggering the levels of ignorance seen in South Dublin. I mean, I think I've told this story before, but I remember we were in school. I don't need to mention the school that I went to, but somebody mentioned to the teacher that they were having pheasant for dinner on Sunday. Right?
Back off.
And then another one of the lads shouted out, I don't think it's appropriate to eat people from Tala. Disgrace. I don't know what that guy, I think his name was X Megan. No, that's too obvious. We'll call him Mark X. Brilliant. It wasn't me. I once saw somebody try to pay a fiver onto the bus as well. Yeah. But also the north side. I was supposed to do a speaking event last week, right? That didn't happen for a number of reasons. They were going to send over some of the questions that we were going to work through in advance. Do you know what one of the opening questions was?
What was it?
How have you adapted to moving to the north side from the south side? Are you fucking... What year is this? Do you know what I mean?
I know.
It's also like, do I come across like that? Is that like... Do you know what I mean? But anyway, unbelievable. Okay, let's go on. Examples of notions. €12 for a bar of Dubai chocolate. Surely worth a mention too. Woke nonsense. If there's one word that I think of when someone says Dubai, it's not woke. It's definitely not woke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the opposite.
My ex-girlfriend used to live in Dubai. She drove me mad. She didn't drive at all.
Hey.
You get it? Just because
the loud, is that it?
Suffocating lack of equality when it comes to gender and or anything.
Yes.
It's just a comedy podcast, remember. Worst of the night. Ready for this one?
Yeah. Now, how sad were you at this point when you're trying to get a podcast together on a Sunday evening?
I had sweat coming out of my eyebrows down to my cheeks. On my face. I couldn't believe. I was really
down.
Yeah.
Did you cuddle the dog Bert for a bit of support?
I did.
This time, yeah.
I gave Bert a little hug, then the lipstick came out, so we both got awkward and I put him into the other room. His lipstick, by the way.
Yeah.
Not mine. Him looking at me, oh, not again, Megan. Okay, you ready for this one? People wearing sun cream in Ireland. Good stuff. Sun cream. That is somebody who has never been within a kilometre of an examination centre. Genuinely.
We can all make a typo, but...
That is somebody who has more penalty points in his driver's licence than he got in the leaving. That is absolutely people wearing sun cream in Ireland. As if notions, not wanting to die. Do you know? Skin cancer. Not wanting to develop skin cancer. Absolutely outrageous. I despair. Okay, Emma Nolan, just before we finish this, I'm going to read out a couple of you that I got, and I want you to tell me if you think these are notions or not.
Okay.
Right? Is this notions or is this hasn't a notion? Okay. My mother puts on an accent on the phone so people think she's posh.
Oh, that's notions.
Is it?
It's brilliant.
My mum always does it.
Really?
Yeah. I don't believe it. Sorry? Oh, she's on the phone to one of her golf. Miriam. Hello. I want to speak to the Department of the Golf Society of Ireland. She always does that. You know the classic phone voice.
Right, okay.
I'm on the phone to my friend. Hey, how was your day? Hey, how was your day, Mark? Mark, I'm on the phone to Miriam. We are arranging a brunch with the girls. I'm going to meet the girls for a brunch. And we are going to have the avocado and toast. Nevertheless, that's Mum. Okay, Mum, I'll leave you alone. So...
Does your mum listen to the pod?
Not really.
No.
Sorry, by the way, good news. Massive good news for you. I haven't told you yet.
What?
My mum's getting married.
That's amazing news.
Dile beloved. No, she genuinely, my mum's getting married, yeah.
That's cool.
Isn't that lovely?
Brilliant.
Bit of heartwarming, lovely moment for everybody. Okay, Emma Nolan, is this notions? Not sure if notions, but work colleague used the word prosthesis instead of strap-on.
What? In terms of like a sexual strap-on or like...
Are
like
there any other type?
I don't know.
Oh, bloody hay fever again. Well, you know what to do, Mark. Fetch my strap-on. Do you know what I mean? Come on, like, oh, Mum, I've been stung by a jelly sting. Quick, grab the emergency strap-on. Mum, why are the police calling over again? Do you know what I mean? That is... what's the context with your colleagues wherever strap-ons come on?
Because I think it's hilarious if you're in like a conversation, like imagine like at a work desk being like, yeah, like thinking about using the strap on, and they're like, we won't say strap on in this place, we'll say the
prosthesis.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was shagging my sister with a prosthesis. But sorry, you know, after your first day here, I met one of the seniors of GoLoud in the office, in the hall, and he was like, how are you getting on? I was like, great, yeah. And he was like, any chance you could not refer to your new producer as a pig in the wig on the first day she starts? Nevertheless, oink, 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 on we go. Okay, me doing the laugh there just to make sure I'm not cancelled. Emma, is this not notions? Men who get little blonde highlights having multiple variations of purple shampoo. No, don't be having a go at men for caring about the way that they look.
Yeah, no, that's having a notion.
Don't be, by the way, posting about adolescence saying we need to have a conversation around masculinity and at the same time ridiculing men for caring about the way that they look. And that's not in relation to the fit checks. Nevertheless, okay, last but not least, when dad cleans patio, what's a patio?
I haven't a clue. A dog?
Patio.
Pateo.
It's a patio. I'm taking the piss. Is it the dog?
Is the name of their dog?
Okay, when dad cleans patio, yeah, he's our Italian housemate, Patio. When dad cleans the dog, we're Patio with the prosthesis. When dad cleans the patio, he boils the kettle 10 times and pours. That's not notions, I don't think, do you?
Not very environmentally friendly either.
No. Okay, Greta. Welcome back to the weekly roast. It is the roast of notions, and I have no notion to cause such commotion as to ignore the real ingredients, the magical potions that form part of this show, as vast as an ocean. Emma can be involved if she'd like, but just not too much emotion. That was actually not bad for off the top of the head. Still got it, B-Rabbit. Let's go. Nevertheless, it's the roast of notions, guys. These are legitimate notions. It's time to get into it. Strap on your strap-ons and let's go.
Okay, so we have this friend from up north, kind of from the middle of nowhere, like grass in the roads kind of vibes. But like her family would be so down to earth and like very, very country. Anyway, she kind of always had this, I suppose, need to gravitate towards people that with what she, I suppose, believed to be titles or money, but no one really passed much remarks. I don't know, because I suppose everyone kind of has notions at times. But anyway, as the years went on, everything kind of came to a head with her taste in men. I suppose as their social statuses rose, their looks and personality hit the floor. Like, she's a solid 10 looks-wise for context, so the threes she was bringing to meet us were kind of sus. So anyway, none of them really lasted that long. And before COVID, she moved over to Switzerland to do a master's, kind of on brand for her. But anyway, she meets this doctor, and we all thought, like, yeah, so classic, kind of fits the bill. But it's not until we met him that we realised how old this doctor was. Like, I'm talking old enough to have delivered her.
No.
Easily 20 years older. Now, okay, obviously 20 years, a 20-year-old's not going to be delivering a child, but I know, you get the vibe. So anyway, she met her match and was engaged within about 3 months. But the wedding was the cherry on top for us. We were all in our mid-20s, and his friends fully were not far off retirement. So it was just so glaringly obvious that she did it for the title and because she was so full of notions. But she seems really happy, but it's just kind of gas because the initial lust was 110% driven by notions. But anyway, yeah, thanks Mel, love the pod.
A couple of things of this. There's a very, very important sentence mentioned there that I think we should all remember. She's very happy.
That's all that matters.
We don't need to exist in a time. The biggest mistake we can make is assuming that other people's happiness needs to look like ours.
Yeah.
Or other people's happiness needs to look like what we assume would make them happy. Maybe she's just happy. And she likes to fondle a dangling old sack every now and then. Do you know what I mean? I would like to know the age gap. Like, I would like to know, was it 20 years? Was it 30 years? Like, was it, oh, guys, I'm going to be bringing out my new partner here on the weekend. Oh, is this the doctor? Yeah, Jesus, I can't wait to meet him. What's he going to be driving? Geez, probably a Porsche or a Jag. Sort of a Zimmery, you know, like what time are we meeting him? Well, 4 o'clock because he has to go home and watch Countdown. Do you know what I mean? Like, how old is really old? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, so what's his name? Bernard. That's pretty old. That sounds like an old. Do you know what I mean? What are your hobbies, Bernard? I suppose Carol Voldemort and racism. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's for dessert? Fisherman's Friends. How old was Bernard actually? Where'd you go up, Bernard? Well, back when everything was fields. Good stuff. I'm going to get the bill, you know. How old do you... What do you think is the oldest that you'd be willing to go?
Oh, God. Probably 8 to 10 years. But I think it all depends on your age as well. I'm probably a bit more looser to that now.
So if you're 30 now, are you 25?
31 now.
31.
Oh, I wouldn't go down the way.
No. Yeah.
Obviously.
No. But if you were out for drinks with a few of the gal them and a really attractive 77-year-old came up to you.
Fuck no.
Really?
No.
It's a bit ageist.
Oh, come on, Mark. I also love how she described them as salt as the earth people, and then in the same, like around the same, was like, and there's grass in the middle
Yeah.
of the road where they're from.
Salt of the earth people, grass in the roads, intercourse with the cousins, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, it's just, there's a little bit of snobbery here. Okay, let's go.
Hi, Mark. So yeah, I work with this girl, Southside Dublin. Insert name of private school here. She will mention it at any opportunity she can get. So we were sitting at lunch one day and I was eating a wedge roll, a little bit worse for wear. And she was like, oh my God, I have to ask, what is in your roll? And, you know, I explained the concept of a wedge roll with taco sauce to her. Ugh. And she was like, oh no, surely not. Must be a Tipperary thing. Never heard of it. Unseemly. You know, and honestly, I just thought my retinas were going to snap. My eyes rolled that much. I was at risk of going blind. The notions were unimaginable.
I mean, she has a point.
What?
A wedge roll.
Oh, come on, Mark.
Never heard of it.
You never heard of it?
Never heard of a wedge roll in my life.
I think you're having us on now.
No, I'm not. And by the way, I was the king of slop. When I lived in London, I used to spend Sundays eating KFC in bed with the curtains drawn, sweating, crying, dying, you know, dreaming of a better world. And Lord knows I exist in it now, thank God. But wedge roll, never heard of it.
Wow. Okay, I've not had one personally, but I know it's a thing.
So similarly, that's just when you get a roll and you stuff it with potato wedges.
Yeah, so people will go to the deli and some people might get a chicken fillet roll. Others would just go, Jesus, just like
a cuisine de France.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cuisine de France, more of an insult to the French people than Henri's handball or Cian de Crow's finger jewellery. Do you know what I mean? Cian, we get it. Do you know what I mean? You've discovered ASOS, brother. Like, you know... You look like an extra in Hocus Pocus or one of those perverts that goes to like a late night viewing of a Halloween movie. Why are you wearing that many rings? Anyway, I can't say anything. Obviously, I was doing fit pics last week.
Come here, I have to say to you another thing as well. A friend of mine years ago, I remember when we used to go on nights out in like our 2021, we were in Wexford. That's where he lived and we'd go visit him sometimes. And at the time, the place to be kind of after a night out in Wexford was the Abracadabra.
Yeah.
And his order would be chips in a roll.
Yeah.
So chips in a roll,
Chips in a roll I get. Wedge and a baguette.
God, I thought I had to explain chips in a roll to you there.
Good luck. Okay, so Emma, let me just ask you though, what things, like what when somebody says to you D4, what do you think?
Donnybrook.
Do you?
Yeah, and I know that there's more to it than that. It reminds me of watching The Den, P.O. Box Dublin 4.
The what?
Do you remember when you used to watch The Den and if you wanted to send in stuff?
Yeah.
When you were a kid, it would always be P.O. Box D4.
I sent in something for my sister's birthday.
Did you?
Yeah.
I got on. I was in a bath on The Den once.
Sorry?
Covered in bubbles, but...
Okay.
A bath photo made it onto national television.
Oh, they didn't like invite you back.
No.
I was like, well, this is a scandal. Good stuff, RTE. Just when they're out of the papers, they're right back in. Bringing you up to the studio in the big smoke. Now jump in the bath. Do you know what I mean?
Come on, kids.
That sounds like a really sort of coked up 90s TV British television presenter. My name's Barry Bubbles in the bath. Welcome back to Barry Bubbles in the bath. You.
Shit, I'd watch that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just before the court case. What would you say if someone says to you D4 guy? What would you think?
D4 guy, I would think. I'm going to go stereotypical, even though it's not a fact. I'd go chinos. I would go really clean Converse. I would go.
Interesting. The clean cons.
Yeah, clean cons. I would go hair kind of like yours. It's really nice hair. It's just very well groomed. Hey, you're a Northside kid now. Kid, man. What?
Get the fuck out of this fucking studio before I throw you in the fucking bath. You fucking stupid. On y va.
So my sister-in-law is actually going away buying scrubs for work. She does work in a hospital, but she's a secretary.
Yeah, okay, this is completely outrageous because they're just entirely different skill sets. Do you know what I mean? Working in reception is very different to working in a surgery. It's not a sort of like tog out and the coach might give you a run scenario, you know, in the hospital. It's not a case of just buying the jersey and, you know, you might get a few minutes at the end whenever the other players are tired out. Like this is entirely different region of, you know, what you're capable. Just because you can type 60 words a minute doesn't mean you should be handed a scalpel and told to remove Emma Nolan's verrucas. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is completely insane.
I fully agree.
Like, you can't be... No scrubs. I don't want no scrubs if you are working the reception.
So I was on nights with this girl and we'd never done nights together before, and you know, you're chatting away to each other trying to make the night go in, and by about 4 o'clock you start to run out of things to talk about, and somehow we managed to get onto the topic of body counts. And she said to me, "What's yours?" And I told her, and I said, "What about you?" And she kind of went, "Well, 2." And I said, "Well, you didn't sound too sure about that." And I thought she was going to come out with something mad. And to be fair to her, she did. Because she told me that she only does anal when she goes back to someone's house.
Sorry?
Because it doesn't add to her body count. So, yeah, never heard a notion like that before. But, my God, I won't be doing it.
That is absolutely, as you might say, my friend, derangement levels. She doesn't want to raise her body count assumingly meaning the amount of people she slept with.
Right.
So she doesn't want to increase that number, so instead she has anal sex. I never thought I'd be saying this in the podcast, Emma Nolan. But let me just be very clear. Bringing people back to your house to have anal sex is not notions. I think it's probably the reverse. Whatever the reverse of notions is, and also, by the way, having anal sex to avoid your number going up, that is like saying, I don't believe in knife crime, so I'll just use a sawn-off shotgun to blow their brains out instead. Do you know what I mean? It's considerably more on the sort of spectrum of sexual things. Surely it's more doing anal to keep your body count low is like saying you don't believe in euthanasia, but advocating that people should be buried alive once they reach the age of 60. It's more extreme than the original thing, I would have thought.
Yes,
for most,
agree.
come back to mine. No, jeez, what do you take me for? Bend over down beside that Nissan Micra, though. Go quickly up from behind. Do you know what I mean? Like, use some espresso martini as loot. This is just absolutely outrageous thing. Is that what people talk about in work? Like,
I love the fact that you're at that point where it's a night shift, it's going on for so long, and all sorts of deep and darkest one.
Any holiday plans? We're looking at Tenerife for June. Ever take it up the arse to keep the body count low? I do, actually. I frequently do. What does the person say when you bring them back? You go, "Oh, here we go. Do you want to come up to mine?" "Yeah." "Oh, this must be on then." "Well, we'll see." You get up to the bedroom, you move the sort of 8, you frantically go into the room, you clean up the room, you know, the manic cleaning of a room before a one night stand where you're like, "Oh, just wait downstairs, I'm going to freshen up." The freshening up is cleaning the room.
Yeah.
That's it, it's nothing else. And it's like you go in, fuck, why do I have 9 glasses of half drunk water beside my bed?
Yeah.
Wet towels, you know, all the rest. You get them all, you stuff them in a ball, you just shove them into one closet, grand, you're done. The person comes in, "So, are we about to have sex?" "No." "Gee, about to have sex?" Absolutely outrageous. I don't know what you think I am, but I'm just going to touch my toes now. So, up the arse, I'm single. It doesn't count. Mental. Guys, I hope you're enjoying the potentially, I'm going to say, the most dysfunctional, incomplete, borderline incoherent, bananas episode of the Weekly Roast. We've really fallen apart. However, the show will always and must always, no matter what, go on. It's the Weekly Roast. It's the final section. Let's get into it. Let's hear about your notions. If you're new to the show, do me a favour. Send me a DM on Instagram @MegaMark. Let me know what you think. On y va.
Hey Mark, my friend is full of notions, but the one thing he always does and always makes me smile is that he stayed in the Marion, I'd say a year after COVID, and took away those little slippers. You know, the Marion had house the Marion wrote on the slippers. And any hotel in Ireland he ever stays in now, he always takes a little photograph for his Instagram, and all you can see is the Marion Hotel slippers there. Like, he could be staying in a Jury's or even a Travelodge, but you'll always see the little Marion slippers there in the corner, and you're going, he wants people to think he's staying in the Marion.
Yeah, that's complete notions.
That's the most perfect example of notions I've heard so far. That's on the nose.
That's
Spot
on the nose.
Yeah, spot on.
Bringing slipper, even just holding on. Now, I will say this, hotel slippers are the best form of slippers in the world until you stand on a wet shower floor and you nearly break your neck. That is notions personified. You go to a 5-star hotel once, you hold on to the slippers and then you sort of signal everywhere you go. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's like the people using the Brown Thomas bags as lunch bags.
I was just about to say, yeah. And isn't there something as well of like some influencers somewhere who, you know, the way sometimes you always have like the A-listers in the private plane and all that stuff. Isn't there sets? Wasn't there sets doing the rounds last year where influencers could go and make it look like they're sitting in a plane such as that? Either this is like over in America or something in America.
Yeah.
But, you know, this was kind of the idea that you're in a set and it makes, and people were paying the few quid to have that quote unquote experience that they're obviously not really having. Notions.
Yeah, that's bad. What's the most notions thing you've ever done in your life? I'd say, let's be honest, I would say the listener thinks that I have notions.
Why?
I would say the flamboyancy, the interest in fashion, the penchant for using words like penchant. There you go. Do you know?
I have no idea. I actually have no idea. What have I done notiony? I'm too scabby to be notiony.
Really?
I've bought some fake designer bags.
Really?
Yeah, they're not real. Like.
Yeah. Okay, Oniva.
Yeah, Mark, just on the people with notions, the ultimate person that I know with notions is my nanny. She's just, I mean, Miss Bouquet hasn't got a patch on her, let's just say that much. One thing that she's done is she bought a suitcase, a Louis Vuitton fake little travel bag when we were in Spain one year. And she's like, that's grand, that'll do me for my hospital bag. So anyways, she has this bag packed at all times because she's kind of at the age now where a doctor's visit could turn into a hospital visit very quickly. But she specifically has this Louis Vuitton case. And we were like, would you not just use that in general? Like, she's like, no, I'll give the other patient something to talk about when I get admitted. And if you even questioned her, and she's like, well, yeah, what else would I be talking about? Someone coming in with a Louis Vuitton case into hospital. Like, she's wild. But anyways, yeah, notions with her Louis Vuitton case in hospital.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. Do you know what? Do you know what I love?
What?
Do you ever get, this might be too niche. Is there anything to be said for a roast of the sort of patronisation of old people?
From younger people, obviously, you mean? Yeah.
Like, do you ever get like when you go to a wedding and it's like, oh my God, and then they mention Nana in the speech.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and a big thanks to Mildred. I think we'll all agree she's absolutely glam today and she's rocking it.
Yeah. Totally.
Is she? Yeah? Oh, she's a bit of a rock star. Is she? Yeah? Ask her how she voted in the last referendum. Let's see what the buzz is like with Mildred then. Ask her if she voted no. Do you know what I mean? Like, this whole, oh, look at her, she's gangster. She couldn't be further afield. She couldn't be further away from a gangster. She's wearing real fox fur coat. The woman has about as much empathy for animals as Dr. fucking Mengele. You can't. Do you know what I mean, though? Oh, look at her. She looks like a real queen. Does she look like a queen of where? Do you know what I mean? No. She looks like
a queen.
She's having a go at old people, really, aren't she?
Hi, Mark. So my brother moved to Dubai in the last 12 months for, a new life, a new start, a new career, all that crap. So he moved into real estate, no pun intended. So for the last few months, we've been getting word of, how it's going. Well, through my mum, because we don't actually talk to him. But yeah, how it's going, blah, blah, blah. And then recently, he sent a message saying, how tough it was. It's a real slog. Been working crazy hours, but finally it's paid off because he is now a millionaire. And at first I was like, do you know what? Fair play. But also in the back of my head, I was like, don't believe it. So I have to ask my mum to see the messages. And he actually sent through a breakdown of the deal and the amounts. And yeah, he made about 250k, let's say. Like, fair play. Great job. But I don't think he understands how currency conversion works. So yeah, not a millionaire, just made a bit extra money in Dubai, but not a millionaire. Can't wrap my head around it, absolutely baffling, but yeah, pure notions of him. Oh, to add to that, which makes it even funnier, everyone in the family, aunties, uncles, all that buzz, they're all congratulating him in the family group chat. While I'm sitting here being like, am I the only one that isn't deluded? Or am I the deluded one? Who knows? It's up for debate.
I'm going to be honest here. I think it's the caller that's wrong.
Do you think so?
The guy's made €250,000. That's like shitloads of money.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be getting bogged down. Actually, it's only 200. He did me up the bum, so it doesn't count. It doesn't count because he just came back to mine and did me up the arse.
It doesn't add to the body count.
It does not. It does. It still counts.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's incredible achievement.
Which,
you know?
the anal? Oh, the Dubai. This for me is like sibling rivalry. I don't think that the brothers necessarily notions. It seems dramatic to present yourself into the family WhatsApp group with it's been a struggle. There's been ups, there's been downs. What, you've been to a few pool parties with some estate agents from Essex, you know? Brother in Dubai, yeah, good luck. Let's go.
One of my best friends got promotion in January and we were thrilled for her. We went out for dinner, we celebrated her, we made a full night and day. The rest went into town, did some shopping, went for dinner, had some cocktails. All was great. A couple of months later, we're coming into March, April now, so at the end of February we met up with a friend who recently got engaged, who also happens to be this person's cousin. So we were celebrating her engagement and, you know, dinner and getting drinks, and a lot more of her family were there, and next thing she just kind of stands up all like prim and proper and goes, "Sorry, did you forget my promotion?" And we were like, "No, we didn't forget about your promotion, but, you know, we're not here to celebrate the promotion, we're here to celebrate the engagement." She goes, "Oh, I just thought you'd have forgot because you haven't mentioned it in a while." I've no words.
Just criminally self-absorbed, this person. It's not even notions. It's just you're a complete clown. Like, move on. It's time to move on. People that don't let the thing go. It's also, you know, when somebody has a good story and they keep bringing it up. We've heard the story.
Yeah.
Stop it, like. You know, whenever someone says to you, "Oh, did I tell you about the other night?" Yeah. Is this when you went out with the girls? Yeah. Did I tell you about? Yeah, no, you did. Remember, I could tell the story for you now. And you start telling them back the story. They're like, you're like, you went out to the dinner and it was in Glasstool. Yeah, that was it. So basically, me and the girls went out for dinner because it was Katrina's birthday. But actually, I ended up saying to the waiter, I said to him, it was all of our birthdays, right? So anyway, he brought over 5 cakes, and I just said, "Are none of the other girls having any?" This is why Philip left you, Deirdre. This is why, in the dead of night, he packed a gym bag and he fled the fucking scene. This is why you haven't heard from him in 18 months. Okay? Stop telling this story. It's so boring. Let's go.
Well, Mark, this is a two-part story because my mum is not well in the head.
Brilliant.
So the first part is that when we were growing up, she would regularly squat down on all fours beside the car and go for a wee before we headed into my cousin's house because she didn't want her brother's wife to think that she needed the toilet. I remember one time she got caught and didn't speak to my father for a week because he was supposed to be on the lookout and wasn't. But the second thing, which will go down in history as probably the funniest, is myself and my sister that we've ever seen, is the time she got completely obsessed with our neighbour's extension. They were getting a new extension, and she would just regularly, when she felt like it, land over to the neighbours, to the building site, and eventually the builder said to her, "You can't come over here anymore, Mrs." So, long story short, you know, about 6 months later when the building was still going on, she gets the idea to climb up a tree in our back garden to get a better look at how the work was turning out. And we're all inside watching TV, that's grand. All of a sudden we hear this massive crack. A branch she was leaning on breaks.
No.
And she lands on her hole inside in the neighbour's garden. And we hear her clambering to try and get through the trees from their house into our garden, roaring my father's name, while the neighbour's family are just like casually having their dinner, watching her do this. And in the end, she'd actually fractured her foot.
What?
So that's what we're dealing with anyway.
Oh my God, there's so much to unpack here. We'll get to the fucking climbing through the trees like Deirdre Attenborough in a few seconds. First and foremost, the peen. My mum, who, as she accurately said, she's not well in the head. Good stuff. 2025, mental health. She's not well in the head, anyway. She used to get out of the car and she used to get down on her hands and knees.
I don't know why
That is
the hands
a
are
fucking
needed.
ludicrous way of pissing.
Yeah, no, it is mad.
I'm not a female, but
No, but you're not a female, but also no one here is a
yeah, but I'm
male.
not. Yeah, I'm not an orangutan either. Like, you don't need to be on your. I mean, I need to be very careful. I've seen women pee. You don't need to be on your hands and knees, as far as I'm aware.
No, it's just basic gravity, I think. Once
Yeah.
it's going down, it's fine. Yeah.
You're not a fucking zebra. You know, you're not giving birth. She's on her hands and knees beside the Kia. Do you know what I mean?
The Kia.
And the dad is being sent to be a lookout. I always wonder with these sort of things. Surely somebody intervenes. Surely the dad says, Catherine, not today. This is insane. You're going to have to either pee before we leave the house or wait until... You shouldn't be developing a complex surrounding using the jacks in my boyfriend and my brother's gaff and then getting caught. Like, it's not the dad's fault if you've been caught with the arse out and you're peeing on all fours beside the Vectra. Like, what do you expect to happen? This is just... That in itself is completely insane. Okay? Then we move on to the rustling in the bushes and clambering up to the top of a tree to see your neighbour. The obsession with neighbours. I mean, that's an amazing... I don't know if this is notions as such, but it's something. What do you make of it?
Notions, I'm not 100% sure. The notions about what? My bladder is so much better than yours that while I'm in the presence of you in your house, I don't need to wee as a perception rather than a reality.
Yeah.
And two, you're just a nosy fucking neighbour and I'm obsessed with that karma came to get you.
Hearing the crack, or whatever she said, the snap of the branches and the mum hitting the deck is the funniest thing I think I've ever heard. And then falling on her hole, fracturing the foot, meanwhile the family just staring at her, is actually superb. That is absolutely brilliant.
It's spot on.
I love it.
Fantastic story.
Well done.
Mark Megan's Weekly Roast. Proudly supported by Cialis for Men. Erectile dysfunction? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Have a quick, discreet chat with your pharmacist about Cialis for Men. 10 milligram film-coated tablets, which contains tadalafil. Now available without prescription in pharmacies nationwide. Find out more at www.cialisformen.ie. To be taken at least 30 minutes prior to anticipated sexual activity. Always read the label.